Hi guys. So today I'm going to talk about waterless car wash and rinseless car wash and how they fit into my routines and when I like to use them and when I don't like to use them. I'm going to talk about two specific products, McKees 37 N914 and P&S Absolute. These are probably the two most popular on the market. I've used a couple other brands as well, like Chemical Guys, Sud Factory, couple others, and they all are fairly similar. These are definitely my two favorites in terms of the use and what they leave behind and all of that. I'll put links to all of the products I'm going to use today in the description so you can just sit back and watch and let me know what you think. So in this yellow bottle, it's a Rinseless sprayer, which I actually really like. I've got McKees N914. It's mixed 128:1, which is their waterless wash mix. In this Rinseless pump sprayer, I've got Absolute mixed 256:1. I use Absolute more than I use the N914, which is why this is in here and this is in here, and I'll talk about that as we go through the demo. All right, so let's start off with the N914. So I'm going to spray the Mercedes, and the Mercedes hasn't been washed in about a week. So it's dusty. There's a little bit of bird poop, other little things here and there, bugs. You don't need a ton of it, just a little spray, you know, like this on the trunk lid. And I'm using a Rag Company Pluffle towel, which is probably my favorite when it comes to a rinseless or when it comes to a waterless car wash, because it's very, very soft, it's very absorbent, and it does a great job of not scratching the paint. So what you'll notice with N914 is N914 is very good at cleaning, meaning it does not leave anything behind. It is a cleaner and only a cleaner. And there's no wax, there's no polymers, there's no protectants. You can use it on things like glass and it will come crystal clear, just like using a glass cleaner. As you can see, can go through this side as well. So for me, I like N914, but I generally use it more for things like cleaning my counters, cleaning my Dynaudio speakers, cleaning my monitors, displays, my cabinets, things like that. I don't want to leave anything behind. I don't want to scratch anything. I just want it to be clean. So Absolute, on the other hand, does have polymers in it, and it's designed to leave a little bit of protection behind. So because of that, it's a little bit slipperier. And I like the slipperiness because it makes me feel like my car is less likely to be scratched. To be very fair, I have never scratched my car with either one of these products. So I don't want to be unfair to 914, but I will say that I do like the slipperiness or the little bit of polymer that is left behind by Absolute. Now that being said, if you did use something like N914 and you followed it up with something like a drying aid or a detail spray or something like that that also had some polymers, you could probably not care about the slipperiness. But generally when I'm doing a waterless car wash, I reach for Absolute. And when I'm doing something like cleaning my stainless steel shelves or cleaning my Sonic cabinets, I reach for McKees. But I like both products, and I think that both products have a place in the garage. Let's talk about the difference between waterless and rinseless. So when you're doing waterless, waterless is like what I just did there. You spray the car, you wipe it off with a towel, and you put the towel in your bucket when you're done. You spray the car, you wipe it with a towel, you put the towel in your bucket when you're done. You might use 6 or 7 towels, but it is a wash without water. When you're doing rinseless, you mix up a bucket of your favorite chemical and you use either a rag or you can use a regular wash mitt, and you wash the car with that mix, and then when you're done, you dry it like you would dry your car any other way. So it's more like a traditional wash in that you have, 3 or 4 gallons of water that you're using to actually lift dirt from the car. A lot of people will still do a pre-spray like I did with my Marilex sprayer, and I generally do too when I'm doing it. But with both of these products, it's not supposed to be necessary. So here we have a bucket. This is a 6-gallon Letica bucket, comes from Obsessed Garage. It's my wash bucket. And really I just chose the wash bucket because this one has the 360-degree grit guard in it. I like the 360-degree grit guard. So what you're supposed to do is you take a cap full, which is supposed to be an ounce, for every gallon of water that you have. Or for every 2 gallons of water that you have. So this is a 6-gallon bucket. It's about 2/3 full. I'm gonna do 2 kind of overfilled caps. Maybe give it a little bit more because I'm a little bit more than 2/3 full. Now, put our cap back on. So this actually goes a long way. That got me all the way through winter doing a bunch of waterless washes, or rinseless washes rather, and you can see the line here. I'm about to this point on this bottle. Now I like to use a nice soft mitt for this. Because there, of course, is a higher risk of, or I feel personally that there's a higher risk of scratching the car when doing this with less water. I'm using a Microfiber Madness Incredi pad here. I will often use my Microfiber Madness deli mitt that I have. It's in my bucket right now, it's dirty. So I'm just using this instead. All right, so what you want to do is you want to take this, just like you're taking any other product. You don't want it to be sopping wet, kind of wring it out here. And then you're just going to go and you're going to wash the car like you're washing it at any other time. So just like that, just like that. I already did the roof. And generally you want to go 1 panel at a time with this. That's the recommendation for most of the pros. And really for me, again, I'm kind of afraid of this, and I've been doing it for a while and I haven't had any bad experiences. I will say that. I haven't scratched the crap out of my car or anything else. And I know that there are people out there like Pan, for example, will regularly wash his Porsche with a waterless car wash or a rinseless car wash. And I think, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me too. And there's probably some truth to that. So we've got those couple of panels, and again, you just kind of want to go 1 panel at a time, kind of go back and forth like you would when you're normally washing the car, top to bottom. Flip the pad over, we'll do another section of car. Again, top to bottom. Stick it in the bucket, wring it out, do another panel. And then what we're going to do when we get to the end is we're going to dry this like a traditional car. So, sorry, what I was saying was I still have, I don't know, it's hard for me to trust a product that doesn't use a lot of water on a very dirty car. So generally, this is the car that gets waterless, and I will generally only do it if the car isn't very dirty and if there's reason to do so. So a good example would be, right now, it's 3 o'clock, the sun is up in the sky, it's bright. You don't generally want to do this, wash a car in direct sunlight. So I have a choice to either wait until 6 o'clock at night or to do it this way. So today I'm choosing to do it this way. Now the other time that I tend to do a waterless wash or a rinseless wash, so today, normally, if I wasn't making this video, I would have done a rinseless wash. I would have used the bucket, done the entire car with the mitt. When I was done, dried the car. I did 2 panels as waterless to show that off. So the other reason that I would use this product is if you have an accident or you need like a midweek touch-up, or if you're going to a show. So let's say your wife has a silver Mercedes and she parks in a parking lot near a tree, And occasionally she comes home with some bird poop on that side of her car where the tree tends to be, or where the tree is. This is not designed to be a specific example in any way, but if that happened, if you happen to come out into the garage and see a giant spot of bird poop that your wife didn't even realize had happened, you could spray it with a waterless wash and you can wipe it off with a towel, and you can, you know, not worry about the paint etching or the staining that could occur, especially if the tree has berries in it, you know, from the, like birds eat berry poop and then the berry poop stains your car kind of thing. I mentioned like a touch-up. So let's say you're going to a car show, right? You're going to Cars and Coffee. So you know, you go and you get your Corvette all clean and you put on your whitest New Balance sneakers and you drive to Starbucks and park outside, and you want to show off your car to all the other people in the neighborhood, and you get out of the car and there's a little bit of dust on it. You hit a bug along the way, you know, something along those lines. This is a great product to use to touch that up in the parking lot of a Cars and Coffee or a car show or something along those lines. As you can see, the car is clean. We've rinseless washed the entire thing, waterless some panels, but rinseless the entire thing. We've dried it off with this is a Rag Company gauntlet. I generally do like to go over it with a drying aid anyway, even though the Absolute leaves a little bit of protection behind. I like the added slickness of a drying aid. Again, that's my personal thing. Everything I'm talking about here is how I do it, not the definitive answer to how the entire world needs to do it. It's just sharing my experience. So some other things that you might use it for. I've got a good example coming up soon. I'll be picking up the new Mini. And there's actually two opportunities there. So number one, I'm trading the Honda on the Mini, or at least I'm gonna hope to trade the Honda on the Mini. It depends on what they offer me for it. And the dealership is 2 hours away. So what I will do is I will wash, dry, clean, detail the Honda, and then I will drive it 2 hours to the dealership. And you know, like right next door to the dealership, there's a gas station, so I'll stop at the gas station. I'll use my rinseless car wash real quick and her waterless car wash really quick. And I will use that to clean the car before pulling it into the dealership, because I firmly believe that if you trade a clean car, you tend to get a higher value. And I mean, I can understand the mechanics around that. If you own a dealership and you've got this car that comes in and it's a freaking mess, you know that you've got to send it to a mechanical review. You've got to have a technician do a service on it. You've got to send it to polish, your polish department to clean it up, or your detailing department to clean it up. And then you need your guy to take pictures of it, to put it on the lot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if I bring a spotless car in, then, and especially one with service records, they can actually see, okay, this was just serviced, and it's clean. So in a lot of cases, they might still do a once-over, you know, a 100-point safety inspection or whatever it is that they claim that they do on their used car sales checklist, but they can bypass the polish department, go right to pictures, and they can get the car live on the website faster, probably in order of 1 to 2 days faster, depending on the dealership and how large they are and how many vehicles they move. So that's, in my opinion, that's helpful. I've always kind of done that, traded in clean cars, and I've never really had to negotiate a value. I felt as though I've always been treated fairly because I'm giving them a car and they can see exactly what it looks like, exactly what's wrong with it, exactly what's right with it, and give me a fair judgment. And I'll have one other opportunity to do it with the new Mini. So I'm going to be taking the Mini and bringing it home. I'm going to do a full paint correction on the Mini, and then I'm going to be taking it to have paint protection film put on it. I'm not doing the entire car in PPF. What I'm going to do is the front of the car. It's very similar. The front end of the body is a little bit different on the grille and stuff, but the front bumper, the hood, both pillars, and the A-pillars, and I'm going to go back to either the front of the fender or the rear of the front fender. It's probably going to be right here is going to be my line of delineation. Generally, you don't want to stop PPF mid panel, so I'm going to try to avoid doing that. And my question is just whether I do none of the roof, all of the roof, or I only do the front portion of the roof. And I could get away doing the front portion of the roof because the roof is actually a fade. But ideally I'd like to do the whole roof. I just don't know how much that's going to cost, so I'm going to have to get into that. So basically all of the impact surface, I'm also going to do the mirrors. So I'll do the full paint protection, but then I have to drive it 20 minutes to get PPF. So most PPF shops are going to do a wash before they do their thing, but I can waterless wash it very easily in their parking lot and get it to the point that it's 98% of the way there. And maybe they'll decide to do it, maybe they'll decide not to, but at least I'll know that the car is perfect underneath the PPF before it goes in for PPF. If I had to choose just one, I would probably choose Absolute because in my opinion, I like the fact that it leaves a little bit of polymer behind. I feel it's a little safer on the paint. I don't have any reason to believe that other than my own personal feelings around the product. Like I said, McKees has never given me any problems. But I could also clean my speakers, my cabinets, and other things with glass cleaner or with a panel prep or something like that. I just like McKees because McKees is super gentle and it doesn't contain any alcohols or dyes or anything like that. It barely contains any scent, but it does have a nice smell to it. It's just not very strong. I do like keeping these products or one of these products in my car at all times, like having a little spray bottle of a waterless car wash in there. Again, just like I mentioned, you walk out to your car and there was a tree overhead and a bird got you or something like that. It's nice to be able to wash that off in a parking lot and not have to deal with, sitting in the sun all day or driving home with it or something along those lines. It doesn't take a lot of time for a bug or a bird poop to etch the paint, especially if it's acidic, especially if it contains, berries or something like that. So anyway, again, there'll be links in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, talk about your experiences. Again, like I said, this is the way that I do it, not the definitive guide to how to do it. But I've had great luck doing it this way. And if nothing else, thank you for watching and have a great day. And I hope that you'll subscribe and watch the next one. Thank you.